what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves one speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
Welcome to Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company. Our episode today is titled From Quiet Strength to Bold Entrepreneurship with the Kristina Desilva and on authentic leadership and emotional intelligence. I am so excited to have Kristina with me. So, Kristina, we're going to talk about leadership and emotional intelligence, and my podcast is focused on exploring stories behind leaders, especially women and women of color who are reshaping the world through authenticity, resilience, and heart. So, Kristina Desilva is CEO now and founder
ma'am.
of Skybright Coaching LLC. It's her newly launched coaching and leadership development firm. And Kristina's journey is a testament to the power of transformation. She began her career as an introverted individual contributor, grew into a global leader overseeing 11 departments across a 9-year leadership journey, and now she stepped boldly into entrepreneurship to help others lead authentically. So through Skybright Coaching LLC, Kristina is helping leaders elevate their emotional intelligence, that's good, to drive change, a mission rooted in her passion for soft skills, authentic presence, and creating meaningful impact. So this conversation today is all about embracing who you are, redefining leadership, and empowering others through presence and purpose. So let's dive in into Kristina's inspiring story. Welcome, Kristina.
Thank you, Miss Rhoda. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thanks for saying yes.
Thanks for a beautiful intro.
Yeah. So, Kristina, take us back to the early days. What was your journey like transitioning from what you call an introverted individual contributor to a confident leader overseeing global teams?
What a powerful question to
Mhm.
hit right out the gate. If I zoom out one click, when I think about that introverted individual contributor, I think of someone who just wants to be told what they should do to be successful. And when I think about the journey over time to who I was, as of, this year, stepping in front of teams and feeling confident, that is a confidence journey that kind of morphed from wanting to be told what to do so I can just not make a mistake, very kind of fearful and just wanting everyone to be happy with me, to starting to have some opinions about how things should be done. And I think that surprised me a little bit, but then it happened so early that I just caught the leadership bug. And the more that I kind of followed that intuition, the more that I got kind of the right path kind of paved for me in terms of, having the right conversations with the right folks and getting in those opportunities to lead.
Right. Great description of your journey to getting to confident. And something you said that stood out to me when you talked about listening to your and trusting your intuition. Our inner self often knows, and we sometimes ignore that. So kudos to you for not doing so. So
Thank you.
you sound like you and I have talked in the past. You had a great leadership journey, great stories to tell around developing and pouring into others. What ultimately inspired you to take the leap into entrepreneurship and launch your Skybright coaching business?
Yeah. If you'd asked me a year ago, when I first started the a little over a year ago, when I first started that coaching program, my intention was to be an executive business coach exclusively, and work strictly with businesses. And while that's still part of the picture, what really happened in the journey of the coaching program was that I fell in love with transformation at the human level. It was no longer about a job. It was no longer about titles or environments or C-suite anything. It was, I kind of realized you're coaching the person behind the title,
Right.
regardless of what that title says. So what happened was really that I was inspired by purpose.
Yes. I love that you fell in love with the human transformation. That
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was, I never expected to be kind of launching into my own business coming out of that, but it has been wildly rewarding to live very intentionally. And that kind of point of purpose and intentionality is really the key reason that I felt, I needed to follow
Right.
again that intuition feeling, that kind of heart-led space, and
Yes.
that might look like one-to-one coaching with female empowerment, which is one of my passion areas, and businesses. There's room for all of the coaching in the different pieces, that it all comes together for that human experience.
So true, so true. And so now that you are leading your own business, how has your definition of authentic leadership evolved from your corporate career?
Oh, that's such an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I really think the change has been my perception of authenticity. So when I graduated college, a couple weeks later, I get my first corporate job. I moved to Philadelphia. In a city, I'm on like the 32nd floor of a building. Like, what am I doing here? I'm just like totally out of my zone, right? But from the second I stepped in there was no individual Kristina that was formed in the time of like, here's the beliefs and the thoughts and the ideas and the framework that shapes you. And I just went right into like, okay, corporate, tell me how to be great. And I think I found ways to really be authentic, and I'm quite a quirky person. I don't think that will be a secret in this podcast, but I like to have energy and I like to be a little bit silly, because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to have fun while you do smart things. And I found a way to balance that within what is okay for corporate settings. And what I felt, I very much authentically brought myself to that position. But what happened was when you took the gray corporate walls away, it was like a much more expansive sense of the word authentic. And I think really like ocean floor emotional level of feeling like you're living in alignment with who you are.
Wow. That's pretty deep. Yeah. So for our listeners out there, whether you're just starting in your career or you are in your career and wondering why you're in the position, or should you be in a position, or what should you be doing next, there's a lesson in what you just said, Kristina, and it was about what you had said several things, but the one that resonated the most with me was about waiting to be told how to be. And so we are all guilty of that. The societal norms, the workplace norms, the corporate norms often dictate how we show up, and then especially how we lead. And to have some awareness to know that you get to define what your leadership style, you get to define what you want your leadership legacy to be, and you get to define what you want others that are following you to experience from you as a leader. That's the nugget I want to give to the listeners, because I think that we've all fallen trap sometimes to the definition of what the society expects us to be. So
true and so well said.
No, you triggered that. So thank you.
Teamwork, dreamwork.
Right. So how do you bring authenticity into your coaching work, especially in helping leaders elevate their emotional intelligence to drive change?
Yeah, I think the way that authenticity kind of fits into coaching now is really in the energy and the space that we create together. So you and I right now, we will have people listening later, but right now it's just you and me, and we're kind of in this container together.
Yes.
And over time, if we're sharing and kind of exploring what's happening for you emotionally, where you feel stuck or challenged or what's holding you back, there creates a very safe space where I'm not judging you. I'm not here to judge you. This is just for you to reflect and explore, and me to kind of help guide you to the answers that you already have. So the authenticity, I think, starts to look like you don't have to be anybody but exactly who you are in this space. Because that's the magic of the transformation, when we start to feel safe in who that is, and kind of playing in the sandbox of who that is, instead of not wanting to go in certain dark, shadowy corners, but lighting those up safely as we're ready, and
Yeah.
discovering what all we have to bring. There can be
Right.
such a release in that.
Yes. There's a trend, I think, in social media and in the world, or saying we listen and we don't judge. So it sounds
Yeah.
like in the coaching space, you are creating a safe environment where your clients can show up and feel safe enough to let the walls down and to
Mm,
just be their authentic selves. That's pretty powerful.
thank you.
Yeah. So, Christina, you've made emotional intelligence kind of the cornerstone of your brand. How has it shaped both your leadership journey and the foundation of Skybright?
You know, Emotional intelligence, it definitely is the cornerstone of my brand. But when I thought about it, it's
Mm-hmm.
really the cornerstone of who I am too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I was an emotional, highly sensitive person, always kind of feeling every little
Right.
shift in people. And if a facial expression didn't match the tone of a voice, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? What's going
Right.
on? And I'm kind of ready to sniff it out. And that kind of was a little bit frustrating, I think, to
Mm-hmm.
people when emotional intelligence wasn't a thing that people were talking about.
Right.
But as we started to be names for things that I felt, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized I'm just very sensitive to the
Mm-hmm.
shifts that are going on. I'm highly sensitive to emotion and, changing. And what I layered in later was the education of what those emotions mean.
Right.
So the ability to be emotionally intelligent
Mm-hmm.
is and kind of raise that scale
Mm-hmm.
is really the installation of an emotional navigation system in
Yes.
your brain, in your soul,
Mm-hmm.
in your body,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps the way you see and process the different
Right.
every situation that you interact with in your
Mm-hmm.
life. So
Mm-hmm.
it feels incredibly important. Where in the past, I think it's maybe been something that's gotten some eye rolls because like, feelings, what are we doing? Data, but
Right.
emotion is data.
Right.
And it's not the whole data set, but it is definitely a
It's a data
piece and it's
point,
to be
right?
balanced.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That is so true. So really just for those that are listening, maybe you hear the term emotional intelligence, you might not know what it means fully. You, to me, Christina, just gave a really good description of it. It's just being highly aware and really tapped into the emotions, feelings, and reading the room and understanding the tea leaves on a
Mm.
deeper level. So it's just a hyper awareness. So what soft skills, Christina, do you believe are most underrated, but absolutely essential? Not just for corporate leaders, but also for entrepreneurs stepping out on their own.
I think there's two really big points there.
Mm-hmm.
First is active listening.
Yes.
We know society wise that we like things to be efficient. We like to be like, go, go, go on to the next thing. We're all doing 700 different things at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not listening to understand. We're kind of listening to get something crossed off our list or
Right.
get on to the next thing. So
Mm-hmm.
really seeking to understand with our listening really creates more powerful conversations, and that's applicable with leadership, building trust, building relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
that goes for entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
The other really key skill is kind of what we were just talking
Mm-hmm.
about, and you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
it's the ability to read the temperature change with
Mm.
people and be able to shift it in a different direction.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
We've all been in meetings, temperatures rising, and it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, sometimes we're involved, sometimes we're just shrapnel, but either
Right.
way, we're going.
Yes.
And it's very hard to bring that energy to a
Mhm,
different kind of place,
mhm.
especially if it isn't yourself.
Yes.
So the ability to see that it's happening early enough that we can kind
Mhm.
of easily shift to a different
Right.
direction is,
Mhm.
I think, the most powerful skill. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working with other folks, or or your own customers, like
Mhm.
being able to kind of guide people in a way that doesn't feel like you're pushing them or forcing them is an
Right.
unbelievable skill.
Right. That is so true. So the two things you just mentioned, one is active listening. We often listen to respond. And as a leader of people trying to get things accomplished through others, and as an entrepreneur, listening is critically important number one, both in leadership and entrepreneurship, you are trying to accomplish something, get something done, solve a
Mhm.
problem, achieve a result or outcome. I just don't see how you can do that without really good listening. And then the other point you just made is the ability to read the room, but also to put that exclamation point on it is when the energy is shifting, be proactive enough and have the skill set to be able to reshift it in a direction that's still going to help us achieve our outcomes.
Beautiful.
Well said. Thank you
Yeah.
for dropping that knowledge, sharing it with
Absolutely.
us.
But just real quick on that,
Hmm.
some people are going to listen and be like, how would anybody do that? Like,
Right,
what, I don't know what she's talking about.
right.
You can learn how to do that by
Hmm.
increasing your awareness. So it
Yes.
all ties together with everything that we're talking about, just
Hmm.
so nobody hears that and goes, oh my gosh, how would I ever do
Right,
that?
right.
Sounds quite daunting, but
Yeah. You have to
everybody
be
can do
intentional. To your
it.
point, increasing your awareness, you have to be intentional and open to it and recognize that that is an opportunity for improvement.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So, Kristina, as a woman navigating both like corporate spaces and now entrepreneurship, what unique challenges or growth moments stand out for you?
Well, I was a highly ambitious young lady.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to being a woman, I think being young also
Mm-hmm.
was a kind of double nail in my coffin a little bit. So, I got very frustrated early on because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to lead. I wanted to be a senior project manager
Right.
when I was like 25, and people were looking at me like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a thing that people do. What are you doing? And um, it did feel early on a little bit like, hey, whoa, stay in your space.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of didn't take that for a long-term answer. Like maybe
Right.
that worked for a specific situation, but how I responded to, no, that's not going to happen for you is,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll go get a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Or if this is kind of a stuck over here, well, then I need to shift gears and do something else that's going to keep me going. Because I just kept seeing
Mm-hmm.
that image of, being a relatable leader, which is really what I wanted to do. That's how I
Right.
like to be led, is with people who
Mm-hmm.
are like, come on in, the water's great. We're all working hard.
Right.
Um, and to be able to be that for people, to motivate them in their job and make it feel like a community,
Mm-hmm.
was incredibly important to me. So
Yes.
I think being taken seriously is a little bit of a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
as a young woman in a corporate environment.
Yes. I'm sure many of us have that experience. It's like, desire, I dare you desire that.
Hmm.
You can't be bigger
Hmm.
than a program. Mm-mm.
Right.
No. So true. I want to say to those listening, especially those that are younger in their careers and starting out, don't do not dim your light. Do not put your dreams to the side. Do what you believe you were meant to do and do it with the force that's within you to do it. So yeah, I like to I like to prove people wrong. I can
Absolutely.
show you better than I can tell you. Yeah.
That takes a tremendous amount of self awareness too,
Mm-hmm.
and confidence in who you are and sense of self,
Yes.
to say, to not kind of let that reach right in and mess with the way
Mm-hmm.
you feel, but to go, oh, they
Yes.
don't even know me.
Right.
I'm about to
Right.
show them something
Yes.
special.
Yes. Yes. I love that. So, how do you use your platform at Skybright to support and empower other women on their leadership journey? And then I would love to hear, like, at least one story of someone you've coached or mentored who found their breakthrough.
Absolutely. So empowerment, I just want to make sure, I'm sharing how I look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually done two types of empowerment coaching. I
Okay.
have worked with women who wanted to be more confident and
Mm-hmm.
really be able to, stand by their values and create those boundaries to protect them
Mm-hmm.
and lead their life with that kind of intentionality. And then I've also worked with absolute magnetic force fields of women
Yes.
who, the second they walk in the room, everyone's like, whoa, it's just a
Right.
powerful
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being. And they don't know how to harness that to
Right.
fuel them
Mm-hmm.
versus intimidate everyone, which
Right.
is
Right.
a unique kind of problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my hope is to be able to continue to work with women to really uh, embrace who they are wherever
Mm-hmm.
they fall on that
Mm-hmm.
spectrum or somewhere in between. That
Yes.
journey to your oneness and your wholeness is incredibly important to your to just being the ultimate best state of yourself as a human being, and everybody
Yes.
deserves to uncover that within themselves.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And a specific story, I
Mm-hmm.
would have to say, I have to keep going with the magnetic force field
Mm-hmm.
girl. She intimidated me even as her when I first met her. I'm like, this girl is like, she doesn't really
Uh-huh.
get rattled.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And when she didn't understand something, she
Mm-hmm.
kind of like makes the face like this, and
Right.
it starts to really change the temperature, and she would go,
Uh-huh.
what is going on? Why does everyone think I'm mad? I'm not mad. So just working to kind of raise the awareness of how powerful
Mm-hmm.
you really are,
Right.
regardless of where you fall in that spectrum,
Right.
is huge. And where you control
Mm-hmm.
and what goes on and how you contribute to what you're not happy with and how it lands. When
Yes.
she was able to start focusing on how she shows up and how
Mm-hmm.
she leads herself in a conversation, the
Mm-hmm.
rest became noise.
Right.
And she got further in tune, noise
Mm-hmm.
cancellation headphones, if you will, of just
Right.
hearing yourself and being centered with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's a vice president. So
Look.
she went from being a team leader directly to a vice president. Now she's managing multiple departments.
Wow.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, because you have the skills, they
Mm-hmm.
see that you're able to do the things we just sat and talked about,
Right.
in addition to organization and,
Right.
all the wonderful operational things that she does. It's that ability to lead,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel that right away because that's her power. But
Right.
it fuels her now instead of holds her back from where she wants to get.
And that's such a beautiful story because number one, she was able to break through, but number two, it sounded like she was self-aware, humble enough, courageous enough to recognize that that is the experience others were having with her, the perception they were creating, and she actively sought out the support of a coach to help her to s- to use the superpower for good.
Oh
And now
yeah.
now look at her. That's a
Yeah,
beautiful
she
story.
she ran with it. Like I
Mhm.
feel like I'm blessed to be part of her journey. It was
Yeah.
wonderful to work with someone who's so eager to
Yes.
be the best that they can be, and that's what's really fun about working
Yes.
with ex-athletes too.
Yep.
It's like
That
that performance mode is like I want to be
yes.
the best that I can be
Mhm.
because I'm in competition with me, and
Right.
that now will really fuel her. I think for the
Mhm.
the rest of her career will be different now that she's locked in with that.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. So what's the leadership legacy you're building through Skybright Coaching?
Oh, well, I really hope that
Mhm.
my legacy is a little bit of what I talked about earlier today, which is that, I think every single person has,
Mhm.
at least that I've talked to, maybe not
Mhm.
everybody, but every person I've talked to so far, deep inside has the I'm not good enough voice
Right.
that plays tricks on them.
Mhm.
And if we really realized how many people have that voice, conversations would look really different.
Yes.
So what I hope to create with, just my
Mhm.
style and approach and, Skybright in general is just that who you are is exactly your superpower. And the more you lean into being authentically that, the more colorful your life will be.
Yes.
And why settle for something in black and white?
Yes. That is beautiful. I love that. That's mission work. Thank you for doing
Thank you.
that. So, Christina, what advice would you give to women who may not see themselves as traditional leaders, but they're being called to lead in organizations or in building something of their own?
If they're listening to this podcast right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell them to take a look at you and me.
Yes. Yes.
There's nothing traditional about us sitting
Nothing.
here.
Nothing.
Nothing. And your unique take, if you are hearing
Mm-hmm.
something, don't ignore your intuition.
Right.
any emotion or thought that is recurring, those are messages from your body. And the more you don't listen to them, they're probably just going to get louder, and
Right.
or you're going to feel gunky when you don't follow what it is that you're feeling called to do.
Right.
So traditional, it's 2025, you know,
Yes.
what's traditional anymore? And
Right.
you know, what do you have to bring to a leadership position? I think it is more of the question, because everything just stays the same if leaders are traditional forever.
Right.
We don't learn anything new. We don't learn new flavors from each other. So the more types of leaders that there are, I think, you know, the better we will all be as leaders, as a whole community.
Yeah, I believe that if we all come from it at the mindset of, okay, I'm here to lead others, but I'm here to build a leadership legacy. Okay, who wants to leave a bad legacy? So if you want to leave a really good positive legacy, then you got to do really good positive things that requires work. It requires intentionality. It requires a high sense of awareness. It requires humbleness. It requires courage, because sometimes it requires you to have some really tough conversations, and you can do that with kindness, but with true transparency with individuals, because you care about them. So if we
Beautiful.
thought about leadership through the lens of what is the legacy I want to leave, what experience do I want to create for others, then we will let that answer drive how we lead.
That's our North Star.
Yes, yes. Well, you're well on your way to doing so with Skybright Coaching. How can others connect with you, seek out your services, learn more about you?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Kristina Desilva,
Yes.
CPCELIMP. Don't worry about all the letters. Just look up Kristina Desilva and my face will be there. Or you can visit my website, www.skybrightcoaching.com.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Christina, I really have enjoyed our conversation, and I appreciate all that you've shared. I appreciate you having the courage to step out into entrepreneurship and make a broader impact on the world than just within four walls of a corporate organization, one client or many clients at a time. I appreciate you doing that and being an example. And I also appreciate the journey that you have gone on from that introverted, tell me what I need to be, to what you are today. That's another example for those of us that are, like second guessing. Can I do this? Should I do this? Etc. As Kristina said, her and I are both examples of what you can do and what you should be doing. And that's what it's about. So what a powerful and heartfelt conversation with Kristina Desilva. Thank you so much, Kristina. Your journey reminds us that leadership isn't about fitting a mold. It's about owning your truth, using your voice, and having the courage to step into new spaces. So from leading global teams in corporate to launching Skybright Coaching LLC, Kristina shows us that quiet strength can create bold new beginnings. Through her work at Skybright, Kristina is helping leaders elevate their emotional intelligence to drive change. She's showing that presence, empathy, and authenticity are not just soft skills, they're transformational skills. And in Kristina, if her story resonated with you, take a moment to share this episode, leave a review. It helps amplify these voices and conversations that truly matter. And again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Kristina, for joining me in this conversation. Until next time, keep leading from within. And remember, every breakthrough starts with what? A simple conversation. Thank you.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves you speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. A soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all.